Hi there, my name is Eugene and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of SwingMac, the theory of consistency. Now in this segment today I'll be addressing posture. Sometimes a very difficult, sometimes also a very overlooked fundamental within the golf swing. And I'll be giving you a very simple way of setting up to making sure you get a consistent posture going when addressing the ball. Now I've got 3 clubs in my hand and as you can see, each club has a slightly different lie angle and a slightly different length. So how do I address where all of that is taken into account? Okay, also please don't forget, neutral is natural, is repeatable, and we need to get into a repeatable action, a repeatable routine to get more consistency going. So if I was to take a short club and address the ball, it's very easy to be standing and get too close to the ball. Or I can be standing too far away from the ball where I'm stretching for the ball. If I'm standing too close to the ball, my body will instinctively react and try and create space. If I'm standing too far away from my ball, my body will instinctively react and reach, and I'll lunge at the ball. So a good example would be to address the ball, take the club, address it to the ball, and now I can address my body to the butt end of the club. So I can stand tall, straight back, bending at the hips, slight knee flex, and you can see my arm naturally hangs in this position. If I'm walking too close, I'm going to have to do a slight adjustment. It's forced, it's contrived, it's not a neutral, natural action. In the same way, if I walk up and I'm too far away from it, I'm pulling my arm up to actually get the grip going. So if I can once again stand up straight, address the club to the ball, neutral position, now I can bend slightly at the hips, I've got a good knee flex, and now that gives me a good idea of how far I'm standing from the club, because it's not how far I stand from the ball. The length of the club will determine how far I stand from the ball. If I can address the butt of the club in a consistent manner, that will help me. My arm naturally hangs in that position, my hand in that natural position, I place onto the club, I take my right hand and I join up. That is a neutral, natural position, and I can repeat that action. So if I take my 9-iron and join it up with my 5-iron, once again, length of the club slightly longer, but the lie angle is slightly different. And you can see the butt of the club, they're more or less in the same position. So from that set position, I can now once again stand nice and tall, I bend at the hips, got a slight knee flex. So yeah, I'm standing too far away, so I can move slightly closer. There it's slightly closer, and that's a more neutral, that's a solid position to be addressing it in. As you can see, my arms hang naturally. So I'm addressing the butt end of the club in a consistent manner. That allows me to have a more consistent spine angle. So once again, I've got my 9-iron, I've got my 5-iron, and I've got my driver. So butt ends of the club, as you can see, same height, same distance. So now I can once again stand nice and tall, bend at the hips, slight knee flex. If I'm standing too close, look at where my arm is hanging. So that'll be an unnatural position. If I'm standing too far, that means I'm stretching. My arms is not hanging naturally. So that gives me a good indication of how far and how close do I walk up to the ball, keeping a straight back, bending at the hips. This is where I bend. I don't have a lunging or a crouching action. I don't stand too upright, because if I stand too upright, I'll be too seated. It doesn't look natural, it's not comfortable. So I can stand tall, I bend at the waist with a straight back, I've got a slight knee flex. Now once again, there, my arm hangs naturally, and in that natural position, I can put my hands onto the club, join up my right hand, and that's a neutral, natural, comfortable setup position. And I can use that action whether it's a sandwich, whether it's a 9-iron, whether it's a 5-iron, to get consistency going. Because it's nothing harder than taking a longer club, a driver, and I'm standing too close or I'm standing too far away, and I've got the same problem with the shorter clubs. So have a routine that's consistent, that will help you build consistency.